generated fiat money out of nowhere. And in addition to that, there were about $2 billion at that time that were unaccounted for.
Right.
Does this sound familiar from today's?
So the whole fractional reserve banking, where you print money, apparently has no value. You loan money to make money, you loan money yourself. It's insanity. And people aren't really educated about it. It seems like you kind of know what's going on now.
I try to keep informed. I'm not an expert by any means, but I do know enough that I keep myself out of debt. I'd like my country to do the same.
Yeah. Do you have any solutions or any ideas about possibly how to slow down the corruption of the federal government? I propose for it to be like it used to be, where the states had the power to decentralize the federal government. Do you think that's possible, or do you think that's plausible?
Possible, yes. Whether or not it's going to occur outside the end of the gun,
right.
Who knows?
Right.
I would like to see it happen peacefully. I don't see it happening with the current crop of politicians that we have. I think term limits are a good thing. We've had many discussions amongst coworkers. One of the things that we've suggested is you get 12 years in government, period.
Right.
You can split that up among several House terms, a Senate term, and a presidential term. But you're limited to 12 years. After that, you're out. And you cannot lobby for the same amount of time that you have been in government.
Right.
You have to be in the private sector for that many years before you can lobby again.
That's a good plan. I like that. What do you think about us being the world police? What do you think about us helping Iran or being in Afghanistan, unmanned drones in Pakistan dropping bombs, the continuation of Iraq War? What do you think about us being everyone's, person to come in and save them? Surely we can't establish democracy everywhere. Surely it's the people that will create some sort of government system that would work for them. What's your opinion?
That's a very hard decision, because you do see groups that would like to help.
I agree, man.
The Czechs back in the 50s are a perfect example. We would have loved to help them. However, I personally, at this moment, I would love to see a president come in and say, "World, I'm sorry, but until we get our own budget in order, you're out of luck."
That would be great.
Once we have that, then we'll talk about putting stuff. Withdraw our people from the base. That's a tough one, because I hate having to fight for the same land twice.
Yeah.
And eventually we may have to. I regret any spilling of blood.
I agree.
I've lost friends. I've lost coworkers.
All human life is sacred, whether it's American or any sort of other nation.
Yeah, and plus there's certain things that you never see. You never fully know what's going on until long after the war's passed. There are backroom deals that you never see. There are things that you never thought would happen that actually do occur. People are woefully ignorant. Even as far as World War II, as much as has been written, people don't know. People don't care. And likewise with this, people don't really care. They just want to be left alone. This particular administration will not do that.
They won't leave you alone. They'll eventually get hold of it.
The thing that frosts me is you have a group of people who, if it were their boss or their parents demanding the same restrictions upon them, would be screaming bloody murder. But yet they're willing to accept it from their own government.
What do you think about Obama's recent travel to Germany, probably about 6-8 months ago, where he gave a speech in Berlin, how he met with Chavez, how he bowed to the foreign king of Saudi Arabia? Does that seem a little strange to you, how we kind of it's like a global tour of apology? Is that any sort of worry to you?
It's concerning.
Yeah.
And it's rather... It makes me angry somewhat. Basically, if you go back to when the Dixie Chicks had their big controversy, it wasn't so much what they said. It's the fact that they didn't have the gumption to say it here.
Right.
And to take the consequences that would have resulted from it.
Right.
I would much more respect them had they stood on a stage here and said that and took the consequences of it than saying it overseas. Likewise with Obama. And from what I have seen, everything he says, it's a wait-and-see attitude. okay, this is what you're telling me. I have to wait and see whether or not it's true. He is worse than an outright liar. He's a